Hi, this is the Lourdes and Chris Show. This is my amazing, beautiful, brilliant wife, beautiful and amazing in all aspects of her life, and I ain't looking for nothing but a good time.
And this is my husband, Chris, who I dearly love.
Who won't let me say I'm looking for nothing but a good time. I can't help it. I'm looking for nothing but a good time.
Yeah, he always does.
Yeah. So, actually, we're kind of, okay, so you can tell we're kind of high energy. We're really excited.
We are. There's a good reason why we're so excited.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to spill the beans. Like, right? We got Dr. Nuzum on the show.
We got Dr. Nuzum on the show, finally.
You know that gentleman we've been sharing his insights and his little pearls of wisdom that he gives?
Yes, and his products.
And his products, for that matter.
That he himself formulated.
That's right. So we obviously love this man greatly, yes. And we know you do too at this point. But that's why we're so excited, because we are just so excited to have Dr. Nuzum here.
Well, yeah, because he does have a very busy schedule. I mean, he has his own patients that he sees at the clinic.
Legit, an honest to goodness,
yes.
Working, functioning clinic. He sees patients on a daily basis.
And, you know, on top of the formulations he's done for his supplements for patients himself, which is why he has these supplements on his site.
Well, no, and then he gives speeches and lectures across the country. I mean, you know, one day he's in Chicago, next day he's like in Florida. He's like, holy cow, this guy's everywhere.
Yeah, he's everywhere. And he's on so many documentaries, and for a good reason, because of his knowledge and his inspiration and the change that he has made in people's lives.
Yeah, frankly, that's because he's the man.
He is.
So we couldn't be more excited, and
Yes.
you can feel it. I know you can feel the excitement too. It's building in all of you. We are literally over the moon.
Yes.
You know, that's a phrase I picked up when I went over to England and did a play over there when I was a kid.
Over the moon.
Oh, I'm over the moon. Oh, we're over the moon as you came to see us. Over the moon.
And over the moon, you know why we're over the moon?
Yes. I know.
Okay, because Dr. Nuzum is a certified tribal healer.
He is, and he's a doctor of osteopathy.
And he's a doctor of naturopathic medicine.
And he's also a doctor of indigenous medicine.
And he's a doctor of natural medicine.
Right, and remember, he's got his own clinic. He's helped over 15,000 patients with ailments that are diabetes to cancer and literally everything in between.
Yes.
I mean, it's an honor to know him. We absolutely love this man.
Yeah, and we're in total gratitude to have him as a friend as well. So, with no further ado.
Well, no. Did you want further ado?
I don't know. Yeah.
So a special thank you for the Patreons that have been donating to the show.
Yes.
If you want to be a Patreon as well, it's pretty easy to do. You just go to
the LourdesandChrisShow.com, and there are 2 spots there, and there's a reason, because there are different ways you can donate. And donate to the Lourdes and Chris Show so that we can continue our mission to make a difference in the world and inspire people to a healthier lifestyle.
Absolutely. So go to the LourdesandChrisShow.com. We'll have the website where?
Right here.
So it's right here.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to do it there, so we'll do it here. Or both.
Oh. Okay, because it's going to be both places now. So, anyways, just click on there and then make a donation. We appreciate it. Yeah. You're helping us to spread the good word, and you're helping us with what we know to be our mission to change the conversation surrounding, health around, mind, body, and spirit.
Yep. And if you don't see the click in the description, which we should have it there.
Yeah, right.
In case we forget, which I don't think so. I'm trying to be on top of that. Yeah. You can just go to the LourdesandChrisShow.com. And I know sometimes people get mixed with the Chris with the S and then a show, but both S's are there.
Yeah, it reads like the Lourdes and Chris Show. Just because of the 2 S's.
Yes.
Okay, so we just wanted to thank you, because we just want to make sure we remember to do that every episode, because we truly are grateful for you and what you're doing for us.
Yeah, we really appreciate the donations. You are really helping us in degrees that you have no idea. I mean, we just recently, in these past few days, I mean, we're always helping people all around the world. Mm-hmm. Taking the time to really help them to find out where they can go and the things they can do, guiding them and advocating for them so that they can turn their health around. And this is daily. I mean, even today, I was talking with a few of them that was going through some stuff, but it was nice to hear that a lot of them are now, their health is turning around. So your donations does allow us to not only share this information on our show, but on a daily basis to help others as well.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly what we're all about. So, I mean, I don't think we should beat around the bush any further, because frankly, the star of the show is right here, right now.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Nuzum. Yeah!
Hi, it's so great to see you.
It is really good to see you. It's been not quite a year yet, but we're getting there since we last saw you.
Yeah. Right. It's been a while. We need to you either have to come up north or I'm gonna have to head south.
Either way, hit us on the way down to Mexico.
Yeah.
Right.
That way, because we need a break from
we prefer to go that way. We're
Right,
okay with
right.
California now.
Right.
You look great.
Yeah, you're looking great. I'm like, well, always.
Thank you.
When doesn't he, right?
Well, that's probably because he practices what he preaches.
That's true.
But exactly. My motto as far as that goes is if I won't do it, I can't tell you to.
I love that.
I love that.
And actually, that's kind of what we said too when we started the show. We're going to try the products first before we endorse anybody because we want to make sure that so it's the same idea, which is why we love that we endorse your products because we really are enjoying your products.
Yeah. So guys, here he is. We've
Finally.
Forever yet.
No, but to be fair, he's such a busy guy.
He is.
That we finally were able to nail him down to actually talk to him, and everybody gets to see you like this instead of because we've been airing your philosophies and your principles,
which they love.
Yes, we're getting a lot of good feedback from that, and I I professionally did the segue. You do have a healing philosophy, and it's kind of your trademark healing philosophy.
Yep.
Right.
And we
right.
We even tell people sometimes you want to go back and watch it again because there's things that you miss and you go, oh, I missed that. So it's because you learn so much. And every time I watch your videos, I learn something new, and I'm like, oh, this is so good.
So this will be a refresher then. So what is your healing philosophy? Just a refresher for those who are catching up here.
Basically, okay, so I have a very, very my fundamental healing philosophy is that healing itself is a 3-step process. Okay, and it's kind of like I tell people if you cut your finger with a dirty, rusty nail, the process you have to go through to heal your finger is the same process you'd have to go through to heal your brain or your heart or a broken bone or a bad liver or diabetes or cancer. It doesn't really matter what the condition is. The process through which the body heals itself is the same process every time it heals. So the first thing you have to do with a bleeding wound is you have to stabilize it. Okay, because as long as the wound's bleeding, it can't heal.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So once you get past that, you stabilize the wound. It's not bleeding anymore, right? Then the next step is you have to detoxify that wound. Okay, if you have dirt and rust in a wound, no dirty wound will ever heal. Therefore, if you don't detoxify it, it's not going to heal. Well, what's interesting is now if we're talking heart disease or cancer or MS or any of these catastrophic illnesses, the first step for all of those folks before we can actually do any other deep work is we have to stabilize them. They have to be stable. It's almost as if we have to get the machinery somewhat functioning in order for it to function.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so we have to do these things to stabilize them first. Then once they're actually starting to feel a little better, that's when we can start detoxifying them. And it's through the thing with the healing process, just like if you cut your finger with a dirty, rusty nail, that process of cleaning out that wound is pivotal. If you don't do that properly, your finger's not going to heal properly.
True.
And it's the same with any chronic illness. If you don't detoxify properly, you're not heal properly. You may get a little better, but you're not going to get all better.
Right.
Okay. Then once we detoxify, we have to fortify the system in order to keep this from happening again.
Right.
Otherwise, you just made a clean slate for everything to start over again. Okay, if you don't fortify I use the analogy, if we were back in medieval times and we're out on the battlefield and the two armies both retreat, they give up for the day, and behind us is an old ran down castle, and the other army goes across over a hill. They hide out over a hill. We retreat back to the castle, but the castle's fallen over. The first thing we have to do in order to be in the castle is we're going to have to clean it out a bit. Then once we clean it out, we have to fortify the defenses. Otherwise, it's not really worth hanging out there.
Yeah.
you know.
Makes
And so the same when we're dealing with a disease process, we have to stabilize the person so they are strong enough to detoxify. Then we have to detoxify them. It's kind of like, cleaning out that old ran down castle. You got to get all the junk out of there, all the critters out of there. All that kind of stuff has to get out to make that castle a fortifiable position.
Right.
And then once you get it cleaned out, then you have to fortify. And that is that fortifying the castle makes it a defendable position, and you can ward off that attack again, just like an illness.
Huh.
I mean, that makes sense.
No, of
That's
course.
so perfectly put. I mean, when you look at it, it's like, well, that makes sense. You can't fix something if stuff is still going in there. You got to first take care of that. You got to stabilize it. So it totally makes sense to stabilize and then detox and then fortify. Yeah. So folks need to understand that, because they do one or the other, but they don't do it in the right
Yeah,
steps.
no. Often people just don't do the whole complete thing, and they just wonder why things aren't going as well or as fast as it should.
But they're like, well, I've been drinking this, but they did nothing to
Right.
stabilize themselves first. Right.
And a lot of times you won't detoxify well if, one of my first steps is just slightly change your diet. Okay. And if someone's, they're not going to die immediately from what they're dealing with, we have some time to work with them. Right. And so my first step with people is, most often, let's just switch to the organic versions of whatever it is you normally eat.
Oh, okay.
That's first step. Okay. Because baby steps, I'd rather see you make 100 baby steps than 3 big jumps. Because if you lose 2 baby steps, you don't notice it. You lose 2 big jumps, you're almost back where you started again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, plus the baby steps would probably be easier for the patient,
And easier on the body probably too.
Right. It's more doable.
Yeah.
Right.
People can do that. So they make that change, and then we start with enzymes and fulvic minerals and vitamins.
Right.
Why? If they're following what I'm going to talk about in a little bit, the pathogenesis diet.
Nice.
If they're following that, then they're nutritionally deficient. And if you're nutritionally deficient, not only you're a toxin sponge on one side.
Yes.
The machinery of your body can't function right because it's missing nuts and bolts.
Right.
And so if we try to detox a body that is missing nuts and bolts, is going to detox real hard.
Fair.
And it may not detox efficiently either.
Right.
And it can be really rough.
Yeah.
And because people still have to go to work. If they follow this process and kind of build themselves up a little bit before trying to really do a heavy detox, it'll all work way better, way, way better. And then if they don't really try to push their body real hard until after they detox, it's, the things that would push, really rebuilding the body, that works so much better after you've cleaned everything out.
No, of course.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yes.
Kind of hard to get things moving if there's too much stuff in the way.
Correct.
Well, it's like that old story about building the house on sand or building it on hard foundation. Yeah.
Yeah. Some wise guy said something about that.
Some source I'm pulling that from. It's out there.
Yeah.
But it is true, because I mean, even in a home, you can't really move yourself and walk through places if there's just stuff everywhere. You got to get the stuff out. You got to get the junk out the way in order to be able to achieve what you're trying to achieve and get where you're going. So yeah,
I like it.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so we're going to talk today about microbiomes
and the gut.
And the gut, yeah.
Right.
And it's funny. What's funny, because Lourdes has been salivating when she found out you wanted to talk about microbiomes.
We're like, yes.
She's been wanting, and she's ever since she learned about microbiomes. a few years ago. When she advises something, she's like, "You don't know. You're mostly bugs, and you're mostly, people are like, what?" And they're like, so it's a hard hit. So what is a microbiome? Because people
Microbiota, right? And the microbiome is the whole thing. But I think people are going to love this information because most people, the majority of people, don't know this.
Right.
Unless they're in the field, they don't know.
Right. So your microbiome, you have multiple microbiomes. Here's what's really cool. Okay, so there's a primary microbiome, and that's your gut microbiome. Okay, and what that is, it starts at your lips, ends, south.
At your hips.
right. Down south somewhere. And from here, from the opening to the end, okay, from the beginning to the end, there are those mucous membranes that line the entire digestive tract are covered with bacteria and fungus predominantly. Okay, about 8% is fungus, 92% bacteria, and roughly. And this is your mouth, your throat, your stomach, your small intestine, your colon, all the way through. What happens is the quantity and the variety of microbes increases in each of those sections. So I teach the digestive tract is that it comes in sections. Because you have a valve right here called your lips.
Okay.
And it opens and closes.
Right.
If it opens, stuff can go in. If it closes, stuff can't, right? You got your glottis at the back of your mouth, top of your throat. That's another valve, right?
Yes.
And when you go down your throat to the top of your stomach, there's another valve.
Yes.
And at the bottom of the stomach, then there's another valve. So you got your mouth, your throat, your stomach. So these are 3 different chambers in the digestive tract, right? Then you got your small intestine. That's like the longest. Okay. Your small intestine is between 5 and 6 times as long as you are tall.
Wow. That's long.
There's a lot.
It's like, wow. And then once you get past the small intestine, you start the colon, and that's the final section.
Look what that's called the small intestine when it's like 5 or 6 times bigger.
It is getting skinnier. It's not as.
It's the diameter is what they're talking about. So the small intestine is about an inch in diameter, roughly. Give or take, depending on the person. Whereas the colon, without any inflammation, is 4 inches in diameter.
Okay.
And that's why it's larger.
I just thought it was ironic, like calling a giant guy tiny or something.
Right.
So it's the diameter that makes a difference.
Our colon is only as long as we are tall.
Huh.
Okay. And here's some gross facts about the colon.
That's not nothing.
Right. So if you think of a 4-inch round, 5.5 to 6 foot long tube. Okay. And that's as long as it's not swollen. Okay. That tube can swell up to 4 times its resting diameter before it starts to tear. Okay. So that means 16 inches round.
Okay.
That's big though.
You have to notice it. Hey, this is right. Yeah, right.
And so when you're out, at the store or at the park, and you see somebody walking by and they got this ginormous gut, and a lot of times you see the the older guys, they got the real skinny arms and legs, but this big old big old gut. That is a swollen colon. What that is. That is again, the colon, if it's 4 inches round is the resting length, it can expand up to 16 inches round. That's before it starts to tear. It's huge. John Wayne. Okay, everybody.
Think of John Wayne.
Everybody.
Yes.
John Wayne. John Wayne died of cancer, quote unquote.
Right.
No one ever hears about the fact that he didn't have a bowel movement for the last 6 weeks of his life.
Wow, that's a lot.
He was 6'4". When he died, he weighed 164 pounds. When they did his autopsy, they removed his colon and weighed it because it was so massively swollen and impacted. Wow. His colon weighed 40 pounds when they took it out of him. His body
was 120 something.
124 pounds.
A 6 foot frame. Yeah, 6'4" frame.
4 inches tall, 124 pounds. He was bones,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
And gosh, you know, every aspect of our digestive tract is designed to absorb. So I'm, you know, I mean,
From mouth down.
we've had, you know, lozenges that you can absorb through the mouth, or a spray, or drops that you put
Yes.
under your tongue and it absorbs into your bloodstream. Your entire digestive tract does that.
Huh.
Wow.
Okay. So when it comes to the colon, oh gosh, if things aren't leaving, guess what? They're coming back in.
Wow.
Kind of, you know, kind of a gross thing. I've had consultations with patients that swore up and down that they were regular. Had a woman was 5'4" tall and weighed 457 pounds.
Wow.
And
No, she's not regular.
Yeah.
she's very, very large lady, and she swore up and down, you know, I'm regular, doc. And I said, well, can you define that for me?
Yeah.
She says, every month before my period,
Wait.
whether I need it or not.
Oh. Wow.
Now, what's optimal? Just out of curiosity.
Well, here's how she was wanting to lose weight.
Yeah.
So I asked her, okay, so how often do you eat? She said 3 times a day. I said, so that's 21 times a week. That's 84 times a month. And you're only eliminating once. Where's those other 83 meals going? You know?
That's right.
And so that's that, just to put it in perspective for people.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. So if I eat breakfast today, I should be eliminating that breakfast tomorrow.
Right.
Or lunch today and tomorrow.
Yeah. Exactly. It shouldn't be.
Some people don't even go. They just think if they went one time a day or they go once a week that they're fine, but it's not really fine.
No, to your point, some people who swear once a day is normal, and you know,
or they've gotten used to being normal like that.
Used to it, right? They're just accustomed to it at this point.
Yeah, and that's something that you had said before in one of your principles. Your body either gets used to something and it adopts it as this is normal, or it fights it and gets rid of it.
Yep.
Right.
You want to fight it and get rid of it.
Now, for her, you had to start her off slowly, I would imagine. Like.
Yeah, it took a couple months for us to even get her into a real detox program.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was, we had to get things moving. Literally, yeah. You know, and it was amazing. She lost, if I remember right, 80 pounds in 90 days.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome. That's almost like a pound a day.
Fantastic. Yeah.
That's great.
So much weight. It felt, felt 100% better.
I was just gonna say she had to feel. She had to feel amazing. She probably didn't know how amazing she could feel.
No, exactly. She had no idea at that point, she had no idea how sick she was.
Right.
Until she started to get better. You know, as she started to get better, she's like, man, I didn't realize how bad I felt. You know.
So I mean, that's
because you get used to it.
And that's. Sick. I'm sorry. So actually, we need to stop.
Oh, okay, yeah. We'll be right back after this break.
We're going to take a sponsor break. Hey, this guy. We're going to see this guy, and then we'll be right back.
Yeah. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. This is getting so good.
Super Earth Energy.
Super Earth Energy.
For nearly 2 decades, Dr. Nuzum was developing this formula.
This one.
2 decades of his life. Nearly 2 decades.
I mean, that's really dedication to giving you the best quality of a supplement that's going to give you not only energy, I mean, it improves adrenal and, Well,
so it improves your adrenal and muscle fatigue. Yep. It actually helps with chronic fatigue syndrome, a compromised immune system, sleep deficit, brain fog.
Which many are experiencing, a low sexual desire. I mean, this 2 decades, there's a reason. He put a great formula together. He formulated, and it's just amazing. Like, We love it.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's like we were just telling our daughter the other day. It's not like it gives you like a caffeine jittery feeling. It's more like you're just awake.
Yeah, like, when you were a kid and you,
Right.
you didn't feel, kids they seem to not get tired. So it's kind of that. You don't go, oh, I feel like all this caffeine. It's none of that, because I personally can't do caffeine. It really, it causes me nausea, migraines. I just can't do caffeine. But I take this and I just don't feel tired. I can spend a whole day really getting a lot of things done and not feel exhausted, or I have to take a nap, or I still do my meditation stuff, but oh my gosh, amazing.
It's because it's giving you energy at a cellular level. Now, all you have to do to get this product is go to www.drnuzum.com and look for Super Earth Energy. We've got that. We got it ourselves, but we should do a little, still show them what that bottle looks like. And there it is, Super Earth Energy. That's right. Go to drnuzum.com.
Yes. drnuzum.com. In fact, right here we see the link.
Oh, see, now I got to put it there. I was going to put it there now, but now it's got to be there.
Or he can still put it here, but definitely here.
It's going to be 2 places now.
Super Earth Energy.
And we're back.
All right.
And as we promised, he's back.
Yeah.
So we're all here together. He didn't go anywhere. He had his chance. Now he's in for another little round. So I was gonna suggest before we went to break, and I realized we had to go to break. So people really don't. People, I think, underestimate how important your gut health really is.
How much you need to eliminate daily.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If you think about it, here's another one of my crazy stories. Right. Growing up, we lived in the inner city, and at the end of the road, our street, there were restaurants, and back in the back alleys after the weekends, those back alleys would be crawling with rats.
Okay.
Wow.
Because we would, after the weekend, they'd dump all the scraps and everything out in the garbage cans.
Right.
The rats would come, it's buffet, exactly. So the rats show up, and what was interesting is Thursday afternoon, they'd come by and get the garbage. You couldn't find a rat in that back there after they came and got the garbage. It was gone.
Huh.
Okay. So if you think of the rats as an infection, they only show up when there's something to eat.
Right.
So if our gut is a mess and we have all this space and we got a 4-inch round tube that's as long as we are tall, that can swell up to 4 times that before it really starts to get injured. How much can we pack in ourselves?
Right.
And why wouldn't parasites grow in that? Why wouldn't candida grow in that? Why wouldn't you have constant infections if you have that in your system? Right. Why wouldn't something grow off of that? It's waste. Yeah. And if you think of the job of the quote unquote bad bacterias, I'll give you an example. Strep. Yeah. It causes strep throat, right? Its job, we're all born with that, by the way, and we have it our entire life. Everyone has strep throat all the time. Oh. But what you have is, if that microbiome in your mouth and throat is balanced, you have enough other bugs that keep streptococcus. Okay, you keep that in check. Huh. Okay, they kind of herd it, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Okay. They corral it and keep it from getting out of, overgrowing. And what's interesting is, even when it overgrows, it's not doing anything other than what it's designed to do. Its design is to break down protein. It just so happens that it's breaking down the protein of your throat at that point.
Right.
That's very interesting.
And so, if it's not just about killing the strep, it's not just killing that bacteria that we need to, we don't need to just beat it back. We also have to install the other microbes that are supposed to be there, so that it doesn't get overgrown again.
Right.
And that goes back to my healing philosophy. Once you detox, you have to rebuild.
Right.
Even if someone had to take an antibiotic for that, they're still going to have to put in probiotics afterwards to make sure that that doesn't happen again.
Yeah. So, okay. So obviously probiotics, but I was just going to say, back in the past when I had strep throat, I was prescribed antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, as naive as I was at the time, I thought, well, it's gone. It took care of it. I'm feeling great. I
Right.
never put in probiotics.
Right, which destroyed your gut.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what tends to happen is another infection shows up, and then another infection.
You're right.
Because you clean the
Like
slate,
clockwork.
right? You clean the slate. That's great. Okay, I mean it has its therapeutic benefit. There is a benefit there, right? So you clean the slate. Okay, well, you know, whatever environment was there grew the infection to begin with.
Right.
And so if you didn't do something to change that environment, it's going to grow the same infection over again.
Right.
Makes so much sense, though, huh?
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, I think of when I was like in my 20s at the time, and I always ended up with strep throat, always.
Mm-hmm.
And now I was a sugar lover too. I was a sugar lover for a very, very long time.
We were both that, yeah.
It was really, really bad. So I was just feeling all sorts of bad stuff. Of course, I didn't know that. But every time they gave me antibiotics, it always caused me to get a yeast infection. So it would take care of one thing, cause another, and then it'd be back and forth. And it was only until after I met a friend of mine's, Barb Purdy. She's passed away since, but older woman, and she said, just take alfalfa when you have a problem, right?
Right.
And I'm like, alfalfa, but she was right. I took it while I had strep throat, and my strep throat went away, and I didn't end up with a yeast infection.
Right.
And then but then, you know, I kept taking those. I'm like, well, this stuff, whatever that is, I got to take it. This was so long ago. It helped.
It changed the environment.
Right.
Yes.
You know, you got nutrients in there that you weren't getting anywhere else.
Correct.
And it changes the body's pH, which then in turn changes the internal environment.
Right. See,
so
I didn't know that before. I mean, I get it now, but at the time I'm like, what is this stuff? You know, I had no clue. It's because I'm changing the environment that I was depleting to death.
No, for real.
And it also is feeding the good guys.
Yeah.
Which is another thing. That's that's a whole nother thing. If we count the microbes, the quantity of microbes in our entire digestive tract, okay, and you look at the quantity of DNA, microbial DNA in our digestive tract. This isn't even talking about everything else. There's way more than just our digestive tract. But just in our digestive tract, there's 1,000 times more microbial DNA. 1,000 times, not percent. 1,000 times more microbial DNA in our gut than there is human DNA in our entire body.
Oh.
Wow. So we definitely need to be taking care of that.
Oh gosh. Well, when it comes to what hormones are you going to produce today? Okay, those all get triggered by what the gut activity is today. So, and that means your thyroid, that means your reproductive hormones, that means your adrenal glands, that means your pancreas. Okay, all of those things get triggered dependent on how healthy your gut is.
Wow.
And so if you're having problems in those areas, guess what? You gotta go back and fix the gut in order for those things to be able to fix.
Right.
That's great.
Right?
Yeah.
Another thing, think about nutrition. Okay, if you're going to take, let's say you're going to get the best vitamins in the world, you're going to take them, but you have a disaster for a gut. How is your body supposed to absorb those vitamins if your gut has no capacity to absorb them?
Wow, that's so true.
So, okay, so that's where the pathogenesis must come in then.
Right. So this is this is kind of a sarcastic side of Doc here. Okay, so you have to bear with me.
I'm into it.
I'll give you my spiel on the pathogenesis diet.
Okay.
All right. So you've heard of the vegetarian diet, vegans, right? You've heard the paleo diet.
Yes.
The ketogenic diet,
The keto.
Yeah.
macrobiotic diet, right? There's all these different diets.
Microbiome for a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. Yeah.
What most people haven't heard, they've never heard of this diet, but it's the most common diet on the planet. It's called the pathogenesis diet.
Okay.
Now, the pathogenesis diet consists of GMO products, highly processed foods full of chemicals and preservatives and all those types of things, hydrogenated oils,
Yes.
harsh pesticides, which are antibiotic compounds. Think about it. What's the difference between an insecticide, a pesticide, and an antibiotic?
They all destroy the same.
They're all killing bugs.
Yeah,
Every
right.
one of them is killing bugs, right? So pesticides, okay, we have devastating herbicides, and they're devoid of virtually all nutrients except for your macronutrients, protein, fats, and carbohydrates. But just to make sure that you're not getting any benefit from this diet, those fats, proteins, and carbohydrates are all denatured, so they become pro-inflammatory.
Nature.
All right. So the pathogenesis diet is specially designed to wreak havoc on your microbiome and destroy it.
So to your point, Doc, before Liver's got cancer, we were on the pathogenesis diet.
Big time.
Yeah.
Right?
It was Carl's Jr. tonight, or do we want to try Taco Bell? Or, it was, yeah.
Or
right?
Chips.
Or chips constantly. Or for Lourdes, it was dessert for dinner.
Yeah, sandwich ice creams. Am I saying ice cream sandwich?
It's ice cream sandwich. She says
sandwich.
Right.
Ice cream.
I just ignore it anymore.
Right.
Sandwich ice cream is fine.
Right.
Why not?
But it was a lot of ice cream.
There's some things, the government, all these multinational companies have been trying to help us, follow this pathogenesis diet, right?
Yeah.
So you can find all these ingredients that you need for the pathogenesis diet at your big box stores.
Yes.
And let me read this. This is from my upcoming master class. Let me read this off to you. You'll love it.
Oh, nice. Hey.
Okay. So some of the best places to find all the right products that you need to follow the pathogenesis diet can be found at all of your big box stores across the entire U.S. And for your convenience, multinational corporations have even created pre-prepared fast food restaurants that can serve you these products in minutes. Even though these products that they are supplying you with and will take years to deteriorate sitting out in nature, or go bad is what I'm talking about. They don't rot, okay? Since there's nothing in these that are living or have the capacity to support life.
Yes, isn't that true though? But that's so true.
It really is.
It's
really
so true.
Those foods, they sit in shelves for years. They don't go bad.
There was that one experiment where the guy took his McDonald's Happy Meal and he just left it on his shelf, and then a year later it looked exactly the same.
I did that in my one clinic, where we had a teaching clinic in Ohio when I was working for the naturopathic medical school there. We had sitting out by the front desk under a glass. We had a Happy Meal, and it was there for 7 years, and it didn't look any different after 7 years.
It's so weird if you think about it, because it means it didn't even have anything living in there for mold to happen.
Right. It didn't even mold. Right.
And think about it. Our bodies need life. In order to be alive, we need life, but we're putting stuff that's dead in our body and we expect to stay alive. That's so not good. Right. And many people feed this to their children.
Right. And it's not just feeding it to them one time. I mean, that's bad enough, right? There are children that this is all they eat.
Well, yeah. I have relatives. I'm not going to throw them under the bus because they watch the show, but the children are so choosy that they always break down and go, "Okay, we'll get you the McNugget Happy Meal because that's literally all they're going to eat."
But I honestly think that has to do with they only know what to eat is what you introduce them to.
That's right.
Because my granddaughter loves vegetables.
Here's another thing. The diversity of one's microbiome will determine the diversity of their palate.
Well, interesting.
That makes sense.
Okay? Because you actually, remember, there's 1,000 times more bug DNA in your gut than there is human DNA in your entire body. Okay? They will influence your appetite. You will crave what they crave.
Interesting.
See, that makes, oh my gosh. Seriously, it's amazing. That was why I craved sugar so badly that that's all I ate. When I had cancer, that's all I ate. And it was like the craving was so ridiculously strong.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was hard to let go. But when I knew that was feeding it, I had to stop. And that was like, everything in my body was like, oh. But
and going in line with your pathogenesis diet, am I saying right? Pathogenesis. Going in line with that, I tried to in vain to go to the store to find Lourdes anything savory that didn't have sugar in it. I couldn't. So we do need to stop for a second and take another sponsor break.
Such a good. Okay.
It's so funny because ironically the breaks are like Inflammagon, Super Earth Energy, Super Digest. So it's all in line with the show. It's beautiful.
Wow.
It's a great thing because it's all about the gut.
That's right.
It's all about getting rid of inflammation. So guys, after this break, we'll be right back. It's so good.
Super Digest.
Super Digest, one of the strongest digestive formulas on the market.
And again, this makes sense, right? Dr. Nuzum, but now you guys are seeing a theme, right? Dr. Nuzum just does the best because that's what he does.
And when it comes to your digestive system, because that's where you get the most of, nutrition, you definitely want it to be amazing.
The top notch.
Yep, and this is like 10 types of active digestive enzymes to enhance your digestion of protein,
fats, and carbs, as well as pineapple proteolytic enzyme and papaya proteolytic enzyme. Proteolytic. It sounds like an era of dinosaurs, doesn't it?
Yeah, proteolytic.
This dinosaur was found in the proteolytic era.
I just like saying proteolytic.
Yeah, that's actually our new word now. We're just going around saying proteolytic.
Hey, it's got pineapple proteolytic.
We never had to learn proteolytic until we met Dr. Nuzum, and now we understand what proteolytic is. It's an enzyme that actually helps you break down protein.
And by the way, and carbs, and you need the enzymes to break down the proteins and carbs and the stuff that you need because that's how you get your nutrition.
Right, and this one has like 10, right?
Yes.
10 of types of active digestive enzymes.
Active, there's a key.
Yeah, they're not sleepy. They're not sleepy enzymes.
No.
They're not just like, well, okay. No, they're active. They're running around.
10 types of active digestive enzymes.
So you want to go to www.drnuzum.com, look for Super Digest that my lovely model wife assistant is holding.
And by the way, the products we share, it's because we take them.
We're using them.
Because we love what it does for our bodies. It's really good. So you guys definitely, oh my gosh.
Digestion is crucial to your health, and that's why Dr. Nuzum has created this Super Digest.
If you have issues with your digestive system, you're going to want Super Digest.
That's right.
Yep. Super Digest. And we're back. This is going to be so good, guys. Okay. In our break, we were talking about also how things like this affect even cancer. So we're going to go into continuing about the microbiome and everything that's been going on. Guys, oh my gosh, isn't this good? I know you guys are loving this. Okay, continue. This is so good.
Well, one of the biggest things that triggers cancer or let's put it this way. Cancer is like a seed, and it gets planted in tissue, which is soil, okay? And then if the environment's right, it'll grow, okay? One of the biggest factors in creating the environment that's right for growing cancer is to drop the body's pH. Okay, when the body becomes acidic, okay, and that pH level drops, that sets up, it makes the perfect terrain to grow cancer or infections, or if you think about it, if you you take soda and you you take a steak and you cover the steak with soda and keep it covered, eventually you're going to completely dissolve the steak. Okay, because the soda is such low pH. Okay, that it's going to it erodes the steak is what happens. Okay. Same type of thing happens in our body when our body's pH drops. So the tissues are just, it's called oxidative stress. So what happens is the, for those of you that have ever, I'm from the Great Lakes area, okay, and you'd have to get a new car every at least 5 years because your old car that you had for 5 years, the body pretty much would be rusted off.
Right.
All the salt they have to use on the roads during the winter, right?
No matter how times you wash it, it's going to happen. You're going to see that first spot, and then that's it. Yep.
Gone. That's oxidative stress in a car. Okay. It's the same type of process in our body. Oxidative stress is where in essence, it rusts. Okay. And things deteriorate, just like the body of the car deteriorates, right?
Yes.
So when your body's pH drops, this process immediately starts. Okay. So there's 4 areas in your body that regulate your body's pH. One is your lungs.
Wow.
Okay? Oxygen raises your pH.
Sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so if you so when someone hyperventilates, they become acidic. Okay, because they're breathing so fast they're not actually getting oxygen into their bloodstream.
Wow.
Okay, and so their body becomes acidic. For anyone out there that's ever been an athlete, you get running or get lifting or doing whatever you're doing it real hard, real intense, and you're breathing super heavy, and everything aches.
Yeah.
Because you're acidic.
Wow.
It's actually lactic acid, right?
Right. It's lactic acid. So your lungs are trying to compensate for that acidity by breathing harder.
Wow.
Okay.
If you weren't already a fan of Dr. Nuzum, I know you are now, right? I mean, geez.
If you weren't a fan, you're definitely a fan now. And I mean, wow, right? Look at all the information. And there was things that even though I knew the things that we needed to do, I didn't know it to the depth of what I've learned.
No, right. Like we did know that lemon will bring your pH to the proper level to help fight cancer. We knew all that. It's
we understood the alkalining.
And the thing is that's just one of those things where he takes it and he goes a little bit further for you, and you go, yeah,
like so much information, right? Like, and so much great information that one wants to know about, because it's like, I want to know this stuff because if I'm doing this, I want to know why.
Yeah, and said in a way that I can get it. I'm like, I understand. I get this.
Yes. He definitely simplifies it for one to understand. He doesn't make it complicated so you're just kind of lost. He made sure that when he explained it, he really simplified it, because life is simple.
Right.
We complicate things. We don't have to have, when it comes to health and healing, it doesn't have to be complicated.
And the thing about it is you can feel his energy through the screen, and that's what's amazing. I mean, look, we've had the pleasure of being with him, present, physically, and he has this sort of energy about him where
loving energy.
It's love. That's love and compassion. That's what I get from him.
Yes, love and compassion, 100%. And as you saw, all the great information. So because of this interview, the interview was longer than because we usually try to keep it within an hour, hour and 10 minutes.
So, and that's by design. We just we feel like an hour is a good length for us to fully cover a topic and to really kind of hit all the points that we want to hit. But
we got clear after this interview that there's no way we can cut this down into an hour, so we decided to cut it into 2-part.
Yes.
So 2 episodes.
Right. So there's going to be a second episode. So I know it feels like he was like in the middle of saying something, and you're all like, yeah. And then they were like, hey, wasn't he great? And you're like, wait a minute.
Yes.
No. It's by design. It's just that. Sometimes you can edit something down to such a degree where you're like, well, we've said this 3 times.
And the thing is, you can go,
we've already covered that, so we don't need to say it again.
The point got across.
Yeah.
But there was so much amazing information that we're like, no, this is information that even I was like, wow, this is so great, because now I understood it to another level. And we felt it was really important when it comes to your health for you guys to understand the stuff that he's explaining, especially when it comes to your gut.
Yeah, frankly, it would just be a disservice, really, not just to Dr. Nuzum, but to all of us, you know, listening to what he has to say. So it's going to be a two-parter.
Yep.
And so you know, hey, maybe it's like a Hollywood trick. No. Legitimately, it's because there was just so much good information that we just wanted to keep going.
Yes, so, and wait till next week when you hear the second part. Mind blowing.
Yeah, it just gets better. I know, right?
I know. You're like, better than what it was?
I know. You just have to wait a week. That's all we're saying. You know, tune in next week, maybe. If you were following us on social media, you would already see a trailer and all the other stuff. And
because we've shared.
And where can one follow us on social media?
Oh, let's see. You can follow us on that one.
Ooh. Yep. That one.
Or that one.
Oh, that one over there, yes.
Yeah. Or that one.
Oh, right there. There's another one for you to follow.
And that one.
Yep, right there. And then there's this one here that we just started. So it's TikTok.
Yep.
We just started that one. So yeah, jump on that one too.
Yeah, share, you know, just go on there, share our videos.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yep.
Subscribe.
Yep. That helps us, and it helps our metrics, and it helps to get the word out there, and you know, you're getting some value out of this, and we know that if you were to share it with others, you'd also get a value out of it.
Yeah,
they would get a value out of it.
Absolutely.
Then they would.
And I mean, that's the whole point of this show, right?
Right, exactly.
But the whole point of this show is to help not just ourselves, but everyone watching and those of your loved ones watching to really change their lifestyle into a healthier lifestyle. Who doesn't want to have better health?
No, your greatest wealth is your health.
Yep.
I mean that's without health, well, you know.
Wealth doesn't mean, I would say wealth or anything doesn't matter.
And we're talking about health, mind, body, and spirit, and you know that because we've had some spiritual healers on the show as well, and it's just one of those things where you have to be completely rounded, and that's what we mean by optimum health, and that's what we're striving for everybody to get to. Yeah.
So follow us, share it, like it, subscribe, share with others. The better the numbers, that lets us know that more people are watching, that more people are starting to be inspired in these stories and in this information, so that we know we are touching other people's lives, because though we do talk with others around the world, which we love, and we are helping many, you know, advocate them in a better situation that they're in now, this just helps others without having to do anything other than sharing and subscribing.
Well, and then that brings me to my thought process of, have you gone onto Dr. Nuzum's website and also been part of his mailing list?
Yes.
Seems like you got some big things coming down the turnpike. He was talking about a master class.
A master class for free.
For free. Just get some top-notch level knowledge for free from the man himself, Dr. Nuzum. So if you were to go to www.drnuzum.com, I have to say it slow, otherwise it'll go. www.drnuzum.com. You can actually subscribe there as well and receive his newsletters and check out his blogs, check out his products. I mean, it's all right there.
Well, not just that. When you subscribe to his mailing list, you'll also know where he'll send you about the masterclass.
That's right.
That's free.
Yep. And again, thank you again for those that have already donated to us on www.thelourdesandchrisShow.com.
And we are beyond grateful for those who have been donating. Thank you so much, because you are helping us a lot when it comes to our mission. Our mission is to change people's lives and have a healthier lifestyle, because we really do love you guys, because we really do care. We are a love of people. That's just who we are. And we know that when you love someone and you really want to be a difference around the world, the way to do it is to impact them in a positive way. So by you guys donating, you are helping us with our mission to be a difference in people's lives.
So we thank you. We are sincerely so very grateful for you.
Yes.
From the bottom of our hearts. And so, as always, keep looking for the right answers for yourself. Create your option C. Look at all of your options. You can actually still get Lourdes' book on Amazon.com. The 3-week Step into a Healthier You is available on there, as well as the book that we wrote together, Our Journey to Option C. And the fastest way for them to find it is,
if you just go to Amazon and you just put Lourdes Lavoie, I say 3 books because Our Journey to Option C is also in Spanish. Nuestro viaje a la opción C. So all those 3 books are on Amazon. It, again, also helps us because everything we do, we put it right back into our mission.
That's right. So Thank you again. We're going to see you next week for part 2 of Dr. Nuzum. I know, you guys are on the edge of your seats. Maybe we should find some way to... No. You got to wait. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Yes.
So next week, same time, Thursday night at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Yes.
Darn you, Pacific. We meet again. Pacific Standard Time.
Yes.
You'll see part 2. So we'll see you next week as well. Thank you again for joining us. We love you very much.
Yes.
And besos?
Besos.
Besos.
Besos y abrazos.
And that second one.
Hugs.
Okay. All right. Bye.
See you guys then.
Dr. Nuzum's Inflammagon.
It's powerful anti-inflammatory botanical formula.
So this bad boy's got curcumin, and he gets that curcumin from organic turmeric root.
Yes, which is important. We want organic. And freeze-dried frankincense oil.
Freeze-dried frankincense oil is boswellic acid, actually. Boswellic acid.
I love these words.
I know. Our vocabulary has been so expanded since we started working with Dr. Nuzum.
Yes.
And that's boswellic acid is important because it's one of the things that help you. It actually helps with inflammation, but it also is an inhibitor for tumors.
Yeah.
So
so why not prevent or get rid of if you have one of those things or you don't know you have it yet?
Yeah, right. And why just jump ahead of it? Because this formula is bound to Dr. Nuzum's unique fulvic acid and humic acid.
Which, by the way, those 2 minerals that you really do need if you want to stay healthy. And it gives maximum absorption and anti-inflammatory action. People.
You're likely dealing with inflammation.
Yes, because most people don't realize that if you end up with certain pains and aches, that's inflammation. Inflammation causes aches and pains to let you know there's an issue.
And prolonged inflammation is really what causes these chronic illnesses, up to and including cancer. So
we take this as well, and it's amazing. In fact, real quick tidbit, even as a thin person, I always had this little pouch, but since I've been taking this, I'm like, I must have had inflammation because that little pouch is gone.
Goodbye pouch, no more punch. So you want to go to www.drnuzum.com, get that anti-inflammatory formula of his in Inflammagon. I love the name Inflammagon.
Like it's gone.
Inflammagon.
Inflam is gone.
We love it.
We do.
I'll let that one slide. We love it. We know that you love it too because look, inflammation is something that you really want to work out of your system right now.
Yeah, like if you want to avoid health issues, when you have too much inflammation just creates, and especially if it's consistently going on,
right.
It causes diseases, it causes illnesses. Who wants to be sick?
And you can trust Inflammagon because it comes from Dr. Nuzum, and
we trust it.
We trust it, and we love it.
And we take this sucker daily.
Love it.
We like to prevent.